Welcome friends, we will commence our proceedings. Welcome to this wonderful session of Kathopanishad. After the invocation, we will discuss, we will just give a brief outline of this Upanishad. And in fact, it's the position of this Upanishad, the entire structure of the Vedas, where it has come and what is the significance of this Upanishad, and how all the Upanishads are embedded into Vedas in different sections of the Vedas. We will all see that because that's very much essential. This we covered in the very first talk we made in the May 9th, 2020. And unfortunately that talk could not be recorded and put on YouTube. And I thought, because we gave a very brief outline of the entire, because for our own understanding, when we are going through the Upanishad, we should understand the position of the Upanishad, what is it conveying it, why the Acharyas have taken it, what is the significance of it, everything, we have explained, and we have also explained to the very many factors associated with the Upanishad. Now we will also be covering into this curtain raiser for Kathopanishad. Welcome once again, we will commence our proceedings. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadanandati Bhagavat-Padacharyobhyo Namo Namah Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodaya Stititolayan Niyati Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Mati Prabodhan Vadan Narasya Kritavan Bhuvitatvavatam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatitta Munivariyam Namami Pujjaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrikshaya Namatam Kamadhenuvem Ata Katakopanishadaha Shanti Pataha Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Friends, I think we stopped at that Sahana Vavatu. In fact, Sahana Vavatu. Good morning, Shankar. Just we commenced. Good morning, good morning. The Shanti Pata we stopped at that because Sahana Vavatu is the Shanti Pata for this Upanishad. So how we are getting different Shanti Patas for different Upanishad and just a structure of Vedas and how Upanishads are embedded into the entire Vedas. We will just go through because this was first covered in 2020 in the very first talk. Good morning, Narayanan. Welcome. So we will just go through how the Vedas, Upanishad, everything has come into being, how they are very, very nicely embedded and how they are come to be knowing as Vedanta. Vedanta means it is always Upanishads are being referred to Vedanta because they are coming at the end of the Veda. That is the proposition, but it is not always coming into the end of the Veda. They are also coming in the beginning of the Veda also, they are coming somewhere in the middle also. Just to give an idea of to how to, because we should have this idea so that we will be able to appreciate all the entire Upanishad as well as what are all the knowledge that it conveys, not only to us, it is to the entire mankind. Let us all always understand, keep it in our mind, the knowledge given by these Vedas, Upanishads are for the entire mankind, irrespective of the caste, creed, color, everything and all. It is for people who have to take it. And we are fortunate enough to have been born in this part of the country, in this part of the world, where you have got all the wonderful things have happened, all the great minds have thought about, and those minds, you will not be able to gauge the depth of those wisdom, which was there for millions of years, which is going to be there another millions of years. The world is understanding, I think that is one of the reasons, how Western universities, everyone has taken up this wisdom. In fact, you would be surprised to know the lot of departments in the United States, the US major universities, there is a separate department working on consciousness, working on what is the Godhood, what we call Brahman, they want to call it Godhood, what is the how it has been expounded, all those things are being taken into account. Before that, we will just have a brief outline of Vedas, Upanishads and all. Last week, when we discussed, I have also posted a YouTube, I just to understand what is Upanishad. Upanishadam என்றால் I have just put a YouTube, on this particular aspect. Basically, Vedas were one single component of the bundle of knowledge, which was available only through means of Shruti, that is by word of mouth, from who has got it revealed. It is not realized, it is revealed. Revealed, when they have gone out of the body, mind and intellect into a situation where they have got Spurna, we call it. Spurna is a word in Sanskrit. That is something at the highest level where you are getting the intuition, where you have got no coloring of any of your faculties into that. Your thoughts, your attitudes, your idiosyncrasies, your way of thinking, nothing is in it. It has come because the intuition is a pristine, pure wisdom from the world, cosmos. That is why the Vedas are called, one word that has to be used while we talk about Veda is Auparusheya. Auparusheya, it doesn't have any author. There is no one. Bible has got so many versions. Saint Matthew's is there. Saint John's is there. So many things, so many people are there. Likewise, all other religions have got a scripture for which they have an author. Whereas in our Vedas, we don't have any author, because it is the convergence of so many minds who have just put the revealed knowledge to them, and all those assembled knowledge have come by word of mouth, Shruti, from family to family. And in fact, if you go to some of our villages, still, there are people who are going through the Shrutis which they have realized from the forefathers. And if you see the same Rig Veda, in some villages where it is being done for centuries, being the lineage, you will find, their own way of reciting it. It is called a recension. Recension is a particular way of reciting which has come from generation to generation to generation. So one of the reasons why the Vedas were not contaminated with a lot of interpolation and all, it is only by Shruti. You hear it and then you pass it on to someone else. If you write it, someone can add a word, someone can put it and all. It can't be written. Finally, what has been taken as a Shruti, and all the masters in the 17th, 18th, 16th century and all, they have tried to put in writing so that it should not be lost. When they have put in writing, they have put only those recensions which they have come to know of it. Because if Rig Veda, if you see in the Gujarat village, the recension may be different. In the coastal Karnataka, the recension may be different. In Andhra Pradesh, recension may be different. And perhaps Madhya Pradesh, Ujjain and that part of the world, it was different. In Kashmir, the great Pandits were there. The great Pandits of Kashmir, they have done a yeoman job, because they have written a lot of things, recensions are there. So therefore, all these Vedas had different way of pronouncing, different way of enumerating, and different way of doing, everything was there. Why it was being done? It is not that simply listening and doing it, it was the way of life. Because Vedas have got, all the Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana, all of them were one Vedas. This one Veda was could be absorbed when they had the entire power of knowledge during the Treta Yuga. Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, they had all the power to absorb. But when Dwapara Yuga came, when the materialistic thoughts and materialistic action, were coming to being, when everything was there, the people had lost their ability to grasp, understand and retain this knowledge. And Krishna Dvaipayana, who came as Vyasa during this, he is avatar of Mahavishnu, Krishna Dvaipayana. So when he came in the Dwapara Yuga, he divided the entire Veda into 4 parts so that people can at least take up that knowledge further and elaborate. That's how he brought the Vedas to the 4 quarters, the 4 portions, so that people can at least take. That is why you find, we also find, are you a Yajurvedi, are you a Samavedi, are you a Rigvedi? In the earlier days in Treta Yuga, there is no Vedis. They were all having all the 4 Vedas. But subsequently, in the Veda also, you come into Whether you are a Rig Vedic or you are a Yajurvedic or you are a Samavedic or Atharva Vedic. Atharva Vedic is very little, and but still they are there in different parts and all. So this has come into being. That was the only thing they can master that. So even that was a great thing. But as it was approaching towards Kali Yuga, for our own information, we should understand the Krishna and the entire Pandavas lived for 36 years in Kali Yuga. When the entire Mahabharata war was over after 18 days, the 18th day was the last day of Dwapara Yuga. After that, the Yudhishthira, when he took over the kingdom, when he was going through the entire, because when he was governing the country and all, they were all there for 36 years in Kali Yuga. In fact, Krishna gave up his avatara during the Kali Yuga only. The Mausala Parva, in which he leaves his body in Gujarat, because by the arrow of an unknown hunter, that happened in Gujarat. That was after 36 years of Kali Yuga. So when Kali Yuga was coming into being, they all understood, because why Gita was given during the Mahabharata war, during 18 days of the war, because the Dwapara Yuga was to end, and Kali Yuga, people's ability to grasp, ability to understand the esoteric knowledge will be minimum. In fact, it may not be there. By only God's grace, few people will have that knowledge. People will have the ability to take up this knowledge. That is why the Gita was given by Lord Krishna to the mankind, the essence of the entire Vedas and Upanishad that was given by Lord Krishna. At least let that be available to the mankind in the Kali Yuga, where their ability to understand all these things will be minimum, if not nothing is there. Despite the fact, once this has happened, because once the Gita has been recited, the Gita is if you see the Gita Gyanam, if you have any Gita class, first there will be Gita Dhyanam. Gita Dhyanam, most of the mantras recited are now almost, they have organized in a particular way. There are so many mantras. Every Acharya has given his Dhyana mantras. But the presently one is popularly followed, in Chinmayananda and all others also, other schools also. It was given by one Madhusudana Saraswati. The Madhusudana Saraswati is a great scholar. He is a Shankara Bhagavatpada's follower, and he has written Bhashyas on Shankara Bhagavatpada's works also. He is the one who has given those Gita Jnana Sloka, and that is what is being recited. Normally, I think you might have heard this, all this Gita Jnana Sloka, Om Partaya Pritbhujitaya Bhagavata Narayana Swayam. So this starts from there. In that entire slokas, in the Gita Jnanam, even you were telling, there is one particular sloka which he has given beautifully. He has given Sarvopanishado Gavo Dokta Gopalanandanaha Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta Duktam Gita Amritam Mahat. This Gita is like a cow, holy cow. It has got the entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, this entire Upanishad and Veda, everything combined together. It has got the Sara. Krishna is the one who is looking after Gopal and Nandanaha. He is looking after that cow, and he is taking care of that cow. So that Gavo, that Pasu, he is taking care of that. From that Partho Vatsaha, Arjuna is like a child. So he milks that cow and gives that milk to Arjuna. Partho Vatsaha Sudhir Bhokta. Sudhir Bhokta in the sense, one he has got the pure and purified and clarified intellectual mind who can absorb. He can be given, and he gives the Dugdam Gita Amritam Mahat. Mahat in the sense that is the greatest knowledge. Sorry, there's two things in Sanatana Dharma, Anutatva and Mahatattva. Anutatva is the limited, it is an atom. Like all of us are having Anutatva. When we say we have got, the Brahman inside us, whether it is Nirguna Brahman or Sakuna Brahman or Advaita, whatever it is, the Brahman is inside us, that is Anutatva, because he is he is rather available entire world, entire cosmos, entire thing, and he is also available within us. He is within and without. So you have got no way to escape from him. If you are asked to, I think I narrated a story when Raghavendra Swami was asked to, he was given a banana to go and take where no one can see him. He said, where I can go? He is there everywhere. He is inside and he is outside everywhere and all. I can't take anywhere. So I can't take this banana. He gave it back to his guru. It is like that. He is there. Isavashyam, idagum sarvam, yatkincha jagatyam jagati. Everywhere it is there. So that is there, the concept we have in Sanatana Dharma. The Anutattva is we are the limited one. We are the limited body, mind and intellect. And our whatever we do, whatever we gather is coterminous with this body. With this, it goes off. I am telling this particular thing, because the Kathopanishad is going to expound, it is going to explain what is this body and what is the cessation of this body, how the body, mind and intellect is going to be different from what is the final, that soul, what we talk about, our Atma, how it is going to be explained, how it is going to be understood. That is what this Upanishad explains. So therefore, when the entire Gita Gyanam, he has given the entire Gita knowledge and all, he has given it. And if you see the Gita, unless it is explained by a guru, you will not be able to understand the inside and the deep meaning that has been given in every word of Gita, which is going to be a gospel for you to live a wonderful life, not only in this life, several lives to come, if at all we have to. So that is the greatness of that. Why it has been given? Because one of the things, people may be knowing and all, there are two things, because even our Vedas, Upanishads and all, they have all got, because they have explained everything, but each word will have minimum three meanings. Kanishta Trayartaha. Each word you can give it three different meanings. That is why the same Veda has been interpreted by different acharyas and different bhashyas have been written. Like Shankara Bhagavatpada has written, so is Ramanuja has written, so is Madhvacharya has written, so is Vallabhacharya has written, so is Nimbarka has written. So many people. Balabhadra of the Gauda Matta also, he has also written. There are 21 bhashyas before Madhva Bhashya, that is 22 bhashyas including Madhvacharya's Bhashya on Brahma Sutram and all these things, Vedas. So these three interpretations can always be interpreted by different acharyas. That is how these different bhashyas have come. Coming to the simple understanding of what is the position of Upanishad in the context of Veda, Vedas have got 4 Vedas, and each Veda has got 4 parts called Samhita. Samhita is the one which is propitiating the god. It is sort of venerating the god. Indra, Varuna, Vayu, Mitra, so many gods are there. Agni is the first one. The first mantra of Rig Veda is Agni, on Agni. So why it is Agni, everything and all? Because finally, etymologically, all these gods, even when you propitiate, it goes to the Brahman. Because all these gods get their power from Brahman only. Agni gets his power to heat only from Brahman. He is inside. Otherwise, Agni can't have heat. And like Matarishva, Vayu has got his power only from the Brahman. Then only he can do it. Varuna has got the power only from Brahman. So even if you propitiate them, finally it goes to the Brahman. Who is that Brahman? That is what different acharyas have given, and they have also called some of them as consciousness, some of them has called it Vishnu, Vivishti iti Vishnu. Likewise, they have given different interpretations. So when we have all the 4 Vedas, each Veda has got something called Samhitas. Samhitas are very important. Samhita I talked about. Samitas are the one which is first part of it. And Samitas are propitiating the god, and this is praising the god. It is the hymns in praise of the god for variety of things for the mankind, for getting the rain for Varuna, and for clearing the drought, and for if there is a calamity to abhor the calamity, to remove the calamity, as well as for if there is a health pandemic, even for that there is a Samhita is there. So many things are there. And all these things are supposed to be done with the proper way of doing the propitiation. What is the proper way? Those things have been elaborated in the portion called Brahmana. All Vedas have got, all the four Vedas have got Samitas, and all the four Vedas have also got Brahmanas. Brahmanas is the procedure. If you want to do this particular yajna, what is the size, how you will have to make the yajna kunta, and how many savit you have to collect. See, every savit, number of savit also they have said. You have to collect, and what are all the things. Even the savit has to be propitiated. Even when you are putting, that twig, into the fire, after dipping into the ghee, for that also the mantra, how to collect it from the forest, for that mantra is there. So many mantras, all those procedures have been elaborated in the Brahmana portion of the Vedas. So there is a Rig also has got Brahmana, Yajur also has got Brahmana, Samaveda also has got Brahmana, Atharva Veda also got Brahmana. All Brahmanas are there. Afterwards there is a portion called Aranyaka. So these are all with the external propitiation with yaga, yajna and all. Aranyaka, you don't have to do anything. You don't have any external procedure. It is an internal procedure. See, what is Aranyaka? When everyone after Grihasthashrama, in those days, Vanaprastha they used to do. Everyone, irrespective of the fact, whatever Varna you are, whether Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaisya, whoever it is there, after the period of time, they will hand over everything in all their responsibilities to their offsprings, children, and they will go to the forest. And in those days, the idea is you have to live with whatever is available in the forest as long as you can. Afterwards, I think you will have to leave the body and go, that is right. And that process, during that process, they will be able to reflect upon what they have done in their life, what is the experiences, what is that finally, try to find who they are, why they have come into this world, what is the purpose, what they are trying to achieve, what they have achieved and what is that finally they have to get. At that point of time, when you go there, slowly your ability to question comes down. You will not have so many doubts. That is the highest level. From Brahmana, Aranyaka, you don't need external ritual. The ritual is internal. When it takes place, the highest thoughts that has come. The Upanishad is not given by only one type of people. It has been given by all type of people. Even Kshatriyas have they contributed that. Vaishyas have contributed, Shudras, all, when they have gone, they are all gone beyond that color, what is being Varnashrama, what is being talked about. Even Varnashrama is not Varnashrama as we are being given to think. The Varnashrama is different. That also I will explain briefly. So once they have got all those things, which has been contributed, highest thoughts, the essence of entire life, entire Samhita, Brahmana, everything has come to that. And Aranyaka, when they reflect, finally at the time they all have contributed. That is called Upanishad. That is called Vedanta. In the Vedanta, highest distilled, purified wisdom that has come and assembled is called Upanishad. That is at the end of the Vedanta. So basically it is Samhitas, Brahmanas, Aranyakas and Upanishad. It is like that, it is there. But all the Upanishad will have to be attached to some Samhita. Initially we had almost 24 Samitas in Rig Veda, 101 Samhitas in Yajur Veda, and we had almost 1000 Samitas in Samaveda and 12 Samhitas in Atharva Veda. See, these were all the original. That's what was being told. There were 1137 Samhitas were there, all the Vedas put together. 24 of Rig Veda, 101 of Yajur Veda, 1000 of Samaveda and 12 of Atharva Veda. As of now, we have got only 2 or 3 Samhitas available for Rig Veda and likewise 2 Samhitas available for Yajur Veda, and of course Samaveda we have got only 3 Samhitas available. For Atharva Veda also we have got only 2 Samhitas available. The rest of them, because since it is a Shruti, it is not a text, no one has recorded it and kept it. Because the people who knew it, I think no one could collect it from them and put it into the print or put it into the further propagation, could not be done. But it is said, even what is available is good enough to give you the highest knowledge. It has so much highest knowledge. Gati Samanvaya, they say, once you have that, it is a validated knowledge. Even that knowledge is good enough because with that knowledge you will be able to infer lot of things which otherwise still not available. So that capacity is there. Our system is so wonderful. So you will be able to make, and that's why a lot of scholars have come with a lot of works. That's why when Chinmayananda was asked, someone asked him, look, we have got a Bible, the Islams have got a Quran, and the Zoroastrians have got their own document, Zendavesta, they have got it, and Judaism, they have got the Old Testament. They have got, what is that you have got in Hinduism? For that, Chinmayananda answered, I can't tell you anything because Hinduism doesn't have any guru, it doesn't have any author. All that you will have is, if you want to come to my place, I will show there will be 100,000 books, 100,000 research works written. The entire library is Hinduism. There is no one book. There are so many books. If you want to have the script, master the scriptures of Hinduism, it will not be possible for one lifetime. You will have to have thousands of lifetime to master. So many works are there. We don't have any one Bible or one gospel at all. We have got so many things expounded in a variety of fashion. Because so many recensions were there, so many families were working on that. So many highest thoughts have come into being. That is why it is boundless. It is infinite. That is why the Auparishaya concept stands on a firm footing in which Upanishad is embedded into that. Having said that, we have got only 2 or 3 Samitas, we said. We have got about 108 Upanishads as of now available. Even though there are so many other Upanishads which are available, though their names have been found here and there, they are not available. 108 is, we will be able to identify somewhere, because maybe we may not be able to get the exact version of that. We may be getting a version which may not be necessarily a version, which was being referred to, but we have got a version. 108 Upanishads are there. Of the 108 Upanishad, 10 Upanishads are considered to be most important. The 10 Upanishads are supposed to be conveying the highest thoughts as the entire sort of a essence of Vedas and the entire essence of entire Sanatana Dharma, which has been given in these 10 Upanishads. That is why in Bhagavad Gita, when you are taking, it is nothing but the essence of all the Upanishads. When you are coming into the Upanishad, you are coming into the source. When you are going into the Bhagavad Gita, you are going to the product which has been made. So these Upanishads and all, they are talked of, it is like a Shruti which has come by word of mouth. Whereas the text was written by, after Krishna has sort of recited, when he has given the great advice to Arjuna, it was Krishna Dvaipayana has recorded it, and it is in the Mahabharata as one of the chapters. So this is the position of the Upanishad, of which we have seen, because one Upanishad from Shukla Yajurveda, Isavasya Upanishadam, first we have covered that. Then we have gone through the Keno Upanishadam, which is otherwise called Talavakara Upanishad. Talavakara Upanishad is coming in the Talavakara Samhita. Talavakara, there was a rishi. Tala Akara, Tala and Akara, he was writing. So Talavakara Upanishad, it is called, it is normally referred to Talavakara Upanishad, we had that. And then Mandukya Upanishad we had, it is coming in Atharva Veda. So the Atharva Veda, we have taken the Mandukya Upanishad then. In Rig Veda, there is only one Upanishad, that is Maha Aitreya Upanishad. Maha Aitreya Upanishad is supposed to be the Upanishad which conveys, finally the origin and the entire mankind, the creation of Brahmana, everything and all. It is also one of the favorite Upanishads of the Madhvacharya. Before he disappeared into the Vyasa's place, in Badrikashrama, the last he has taught is Maha Aitreya Upanishad. He has taught Maha Aitreya Upanishad so many times. So finally he taught that. He asked his Sishyas to discuss about that and not to follow him. Then he disappeared into the God. That is the last he has done. That is Rig Veda. In Yajurveda, Yajurveda again was made into 2 parts, Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda. Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda, how it has come, there is a small story. Of course, we will not go into the details of the story which we have discussed earlier. Briefly, I will tell you, there was a Yajnavakya, one great sage was there. The Yajnavakya is such a wonderful, his grasping is phenomenal. before you recite, as you recite and complete, he has grasped it. So he was so highly sort of a competent student, he could get anything, and Yajnavalkya has contributed so many things, in the forthcoming Upanishad we will say, Brihadaranya Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, and also his reference will come. When he had got this, he became so highly, he had the Viryam, he has got such a power to grasp everything. All other disciples, they were envious of him. And his guru, one day he wanted some yajna to be conducted. So he has asked some of his Sishyas and Yajnavalkya, all of them, why don't you have this yajna conducted? And all. So when all these Sishyas and all, they were trying to do, Yajnavalkya out of, because no arrogance and all, he said, why, so many of us have to be there. I alone can make everything and perhaps make it ready for conducting the yajna. But this was mistaken to be his arrogance, because he has got so much of a knowledge. He is having so much of arrogance to think that he alone can do. He doesn't need anyone else to do. See, normally it happens. Suppose when you are so familiar and the other person is still to come to your level and all. Even it may happen in organizations and all. Don't worry, I will have it done. Because I know how to deal with it, because all of us think. That also contributes slowly to our ego, which is a very wrong thing. Without ego, because Yajnavalkya didn't have any ego. He said, because this can be done, and others can, because they can also do so many other things, what the Guru may be requiring. So their Guru gave him a curse that whatever I have taught you, you will vomit. So when he had to vomit, he has got no other option but to vomit. It came as a blackish thing, fell on the ground. Then there is one bird, Taitriya bird, one bird was there. It absorbed the entire, the vomiting, the vomit, entire thing it took away. And afterwards, he did tapas, and then Vajasaniya, the sun god, he gave him a gun after his tapas, and you will get back the knowledge, whatever it has been vomited out, you will take it. Since it was a black, and it has gone back, he got it back, from Taitriya because of his tapas to Surya, which is Vajasaniya, because it's called, Surya is called Vajasaniya, that is why that Vajasaniya Samhita, because the Krishna Yajurveda, the Samhita is called Vajasaniya Samhita. So in the Vajasaniya Samhita only, we have got this 40th Samhita, Isavasya Upanishadam, which we have already gone through. The other portion, the other disciples, whatever they have done, that is called Shukla Yajurveda. You might be knowing the name Shuklas in the northern part of the country. They are all followers of Shukla Yajurveda. See, in southern part, mostly we are all following the Krishna Yajurveda. That is how it has come about. In the Krishna Yajurveda, Shukla Yajurveda, there are two Upanishads. One is that we have got, this is only for the information that you can just, we have got Isha and Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Krishna Yajurveda, we have got Kathopanishad, what we are having. Kathopanishad is part of Kathopanishad. In this Upanishad, there is a Samhita called Taitriya. It's not in the Samhita, it is a Taitriya Brahmana is there. This Kathopanishad comes in Taitriya Brahmana of Krishna Yajurveda. In the Krishna Yajurveda, Taitriya Brahmana, it comes as a story. And this is also being reflected elsewhere in Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata. There also same story comes. What story? It is the story of Nachiketa. Nachiketa's story comes in Taitriya Brahmana of Yajurveda as well as Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata, and it also comes in Rigveda. Rigveda and Samhita it comes. So it has got three versions. All it is because why it is coming as a three versions. In all the three, this principle that is coming out of Kathopanishad is so high. It has been taken as a sort of a means of imparting the knowledge in all the Samhitas. So that is how it has come about. And we have got about 4 Upanishads in Yajurveda. Isavasya Upanishad, And we have got Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, they are in the Shukla Yajurveda, Kataka Upanishad and Taittiriya Upanishad. They are from the Krishna Yajurveda, others are Shukla Yajurveda. In Rig Veda, we have got Mahaitreya Upanishad, which I told you. And we have also already gone through the Talavakara Upanishad of Samaveda. The Chandogya Upanishad is the one which is left in Samaveda, which we will be covering later. And in Atharvana Veda, we have got three major Upanishads. One is Mandukya, which we have already covered. It has got another Upanishad called Atharva Upanishad. It is called Atharva Upanishad because the sage is called Atharva. Atharva is a rishi. And based, because of his exposition, Atharva Upanishad, but normally it is being called as Mundaka Upanishad. Mundaka Upanishad is once you have a shaved head. It is basically when you give up sannyasin. Once you give up tyaga, when you do it, that Mundaka Upanishad is supposed to be the one process in which you will be able to give up the tyaga. That is what is the Mundaka Upanishad. It has also got one more Upanishad called Shatprashna Upanishad. Shatprashna. It is normally called as Prashna Upanishad. That is what people are referring it. The actual name for the Shatprashna Upanishad, it is a 6 questions asked by 6 masters, 6 rishis. How the 6 questions are being expounded, that is the Shatprashna Upanishad. That is also part of the Atharva Upanishad. So Atharva Upanishad, we have got 2 more Upanishads to go through. That is Atharva Upanishad or Mundaka Upanishad, and we have also go to Shatprashna Upanishad. As far as Samaveda is concerned, we have to go through Chandogya Upanishad. As far as Rig Veda is concerned, we have to go through Mahaitreya Upanishad. As far as Shukla Yajurveda is concerned, we will have to go through Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And Krishna Yajurveda, we are going through the first Upanishad, Kataka Upanishad. Because Katha Upanishad, people say Katha is not the story, it is Kataka, it is a Samhita. Taittiriya Brahmana, there was a Kataka Samhita because there is a recension. The people say there is a Kataka was Rishi or the Kataka was the lineage in which the Samhita was there. In this, the story is coming. This is just a brief outline as to how these Upanishads are embedded into and how these Upanishads have got a great component of the wisdom of the Vedas finally converged into a sort of collection of the highest thoughts that will come about from the entire Vedic culture and Upanishadic culture. So in view of the inability of the people to be getting this knowledge, the Gita was finally the Lord chose to recite the Gita so that the essence of this Upanishad, let it be available to the mankind. So that even at least some point of time they will be able to get some spurts here and there, some bits and pieces of the knowledge. Little come to that so that the knowledge will not be lost for the entire mankind. So let it be available. That is what exactly the position of this entire thing. Having described, the Gita is giving the essence of knowledge and all the Upanishads and all. The Kataka Upanishad and Gita is supposed to be sort of having the common ideas in most of the things. The Kataka Upanishad is a straightforward Upanishad. It doesn't beat around the bush. It gives the message direct. But at the same time, it gives the allegory, it gives a story first. The story will make you to think, because for the human mind to understand the story, even though the story is told so many times by so many people in so many ways, do you understand the port of that particular purpose of this entire story is very, very difficult to sort of denote, because it's very difficult to find. Unless you get into the depth of it, you will not be able to find out. Why? Because the Gita we may be reading, this is it and all. Gita just by reading, or by hearing someone, you will not be able to get the knowledge. And we will have to go through this entire thing and try to understand and relate it to some way, your experience, your life and all. See, there is one thing we have to take it into account. See, all our vocations, all our, because our education, they may be time bound. We may be going 3 years of graduation, 2 years of post-graduation, maybe 3.5 or 4, depending upon this any professional qualification, MBA, CA or something like that. You may do all those things, medical, 5 years and all. These are all time bound. In Adhyatma, It is not time bound, because in Adhyatma you have to take interest. You have to go to the Adhyatma and you will have to take your effort. Without taking effort, you will not be able to understand. What is that? First thing in the first gospel we will have to understand from the entire thing is the knowledge should not be fallen to the wrong hands. That has been ensured by all our masters. Why they said it is such a dangerous knowledge? Why it should not be falling into the wrong hands? They are only telling that Brahman, this and that and all. What is that? And most of the people don't have any interest. What is this Brahman, which is unknown thing and all? What is the wrong knowledge they are telling you? It's not that. It is giving variety of ways of getting yourself excelled during the life, physically, mentally and astrally. You've got three stages, as we have seen in Mandukya Upanishad. You've got Jagrata Sthana, Swapna Sthana and Sushupta Sthana. We have got the conscious mind. When you are having a conscious mind, the conscious mind should comprise only of the highest, because whatever you are capable of. An engineer will have the conscious mind full of his engineering ideas only. He will not be having another thing, but all other things, what are tidbits and all, he will leave it and all. So you will be having a subconscious mind. In the subconscious mind, you will be having where you will be collecting lot of things which will be filtered and finally going to the conscious mind. And there is an unconscious mind. Unconscious mind is, because that you will be doing so many things by virtue of your habit. No one has to teach you, morning, you get up and brush and take coffee. It's a habit. Whether you are in US or whether you are in India, whether you are going anywhere, you are going to do that. That is a habit. You don't have to take a special effort. No thought, no action is required. We are all part of it. So that's Rabindranath Tagore has said, what we have said in the desert of dead habits. We are all following into the desert of dead habits. So when the desert of dead habits is there, we are always trying to cross the desert. That is our life. But when you are trying to find how you can, because why, you don't have to have anything, as a habit, how you can go through. When you are trying to find, that needs some change in you. So Adhyatma is considered to be a 24/7 job. It is always throughout the life, throughout every time, when you are sitting here, when you are out of this class, or when you are, after this also, when you are doing, you have got to be aware of what you have, because what possibly you are going to do, and you have to be mindful about what you are going to do. When you are going to be mindful, yes, because with the full concentration, you will not be seeing watching the WhatsApp and talking to someone. Your mind will be in WhatsApp, some joke will be coming and you will be talking to a person who is seriously talking to you. This is my problem, how am I to help? So you will give some wishy-washy ideas because you don't have any sincerity of purpose to talk to him. And you don't have any intention to do. So therefore, it is, you will be able to focus on the right thing to the right person in the right way. Kala, Desa, Vartamana. All the three together will have to go when you have to put an action into being. That is what will happen. That is what is very much required. This Upanishad gives you the highest possible way in which you can make it. In this Upanishad, so many ideas we will be seeing, whatever has come into is being absolutely as it is reflected, maybe with a minor change in Gita. This is considered to be one of the Upanishads, which is very, very great, in the sense, because this is the Upanishad which is being discussed a lot and debated a lot, because it always provokes, it gives you a lot of ideas, and these ideas are not, the parchment on paper. These are all practical ideas you can imbibe in your life and follow it. All Upanishads are like that. But all Upanishads, like Mandukya Upanishad we have seen, it is only philosophy, no story and all. You will have to understand what is it, because how you have to do, the Om is the purpose of the entire thing. You will have to finally work on Om, and you will have to have, the Turiya stage, that is what we talked about. It is all, because it may appear to be a person who is not initiated as a dry and drab. Whereas this Upanishad takes you along to the very purpose, the core of your being. How you will have to get through the life, and that too, great, because like Krishna and Arjuna is having the discussions and how they are following, how they are having the debate finally, why Arjuna was able to get that knowledge. Krishna prepared him, the chapter 1 and chapter 1, he croaked. Whatever he wanted to tell, he croaked. Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He was depression like us. We have got depression, every other thing, something what we want is not happening. So we are like Arjuna, first chapter. But the second chapter, he gives him the strength, Viryam. Atmana Vindite Viryam. When he said, he bring him, Viryam, the strength to go through and reflect upon. That he gave it slowly, he brings it. Why Arjuna was able to get the change? Why he was able to get the knowledge? He said he was willing to change. He beseeched Krishna, you tell me what am I to do to get this knowledge? Why can't I get this knowledge? Well, certainly I will do it, but I am not in a position to get, because that is my state of affairs. Then Krishna guided him slowly and got him into the highest realm of knowledge. From there he got it. The entire thing, if you take the parallel here it is the Nachiketa. Nachiketa, a boy who is in the infancy. He maybe, you can say, he is between the 5 years to 10, 11 years stage. That is called Kumara, we call it. That Kumara, otherwise he was a Kishora. He is the Kumara stage. In that, because he is pursuing the knowledge, and he will see, what a great thoughts he is having. He and Yama. Yama is the one who is giving the highest knowledge to him. The Yama and Nachiketa is somewhat analogically same like Krishna and Arjuna. This is what we will see the discussions, how it is going about. And we will have to be prepared for the wonderful discussions, and it is going to deal with the most subject not being discussed in everyday life. It will be discussing about death and life after death. So we don't have to get surprised about, we should not get befuddled, why the death is being talked about. Death is, see what happens, by virtue of our mind, we may be dying every minute, which we may not be aware. So we may be having million deaths a day, we may not be aware. It is a sort of, symbolically that is being talked about. Because you should not be, in order not to have the death every day, and in order to have a strength, so that you are alive every moment of the time, to make you alive, to use the life energy given by the God every moment, that is Adhyatma. If you are having prana every moment, and when you are working on that, when you are having the awareness of prana, that is Adhyatma. When you will have awareness of prana, when you are not dissipating your mind into so many other things and all. Not that you do only pranayama all through the day. When you are aware of it, you will be focusing, your mindfulness will be there, your attention will be there, your attitude will be there. Everything will come together and get the best out of you. Not only for you, to your family and your people who are around you. That is how you are going to excel in the life. That is what is going to be there. And this is the analogy between this and all. One Swamiji, because he was jokingly telling, the Krishna is such a great, the magician, he is Mayavi. He picked up lot of things from Kathopanishad and put it in Gita. वो चोरी का आदत नहीं छोड़ता है, because he was earlier as a boy, he was taking the butter and all. So he was trying to tell, to give the explanation how Gita and Kathopanishad are identical. And not only that, he has made only some minor changes. Exactly the same words come. Maybe during the discussion, you may be wondering whether we are discussing Bhagavad Gita or Kathopanishad. It is such a way, both are interlinked. But when the Upanishad starts, it starts with a story. That's where the entire thing, it gives a fillip to the entire thing. It is like, opening, with a sort of a climax. If the movie opens with a climax, then you get the interest. It is like this. The first scene is like that. Suddenly it throws you out of your being, bearing, you are just totally, you are fluxed. You just don't know what it is. What has taken you out of that? Befuddled. You just don't know, and then you go about that. So then it explains the meaning and how it is going to be talked about. And this is exactly, this Upanishad is going to follow. And we will be showing the story. First, there will be a story, we will talk about that. Before that, we have recited the same mantra. We have been reciting this mantra for every Upanishad. This Shanti mantra has got a meaning, though we might have explained earlier, though we might be sort of recited everywhere and all. In the context of this Upanishad, as well as in the context of the Yajurveda, the Shantipata, we will just go through briefly as to what is the Shantipata, which we have been reciting all through. And we are reciting all through whenever we are having any discussion on Adhyatma, Veda, Upanishad, everything and all. Sahana avatu. Sahana avatu in the sense, Saha now avatu. Now is together, both of us. Saha, both the teacher and taught. Who is the teacher here? It is all these Krishnam Vande Jagatgurum. He is the teacher for everyone. But we are getting the knowledge from the Bhashyas of great Acharyas like Shankara Bhagavatpada, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, Nimbarka. From all these people, they are the one who are giving us. So we are getting it from them. They are the gurus. Through their Bhashyas, and through their elucidations and the masters who have explained all these elucidations, we have got it. And like for Madhva Bhashya, Madhvacharya's Bhashya, there is a Khandartha written by Raghavendra Swami. He has given further elucidation because Madhvacharya's Bhashya is very brief as well as to the point to understand that you need a Bhashya to understand. So that's what Raghavendra Swami has given. And then we have got a Vadiraja Swami. He has given a Prakashika on the same Bhashya. If you read those things, you will understand. Like Shankara Bhagavatpada, he has also given a brief Bhashyas. These Acharyas, they give it brief, because it is meant for those who are already having the highest knowledge. So then all these things are further taken out and explained by the great scholars, they like Madhusudana Saraswati. They have all explained that Vidyaranya and all. But of course, the modern days, it is Chinmayananda and others, and Krishnananda, all of them, even Ramakrishna Math, because they have also written Gambhirananda. They have all written Bhashyas on that. We all refer to that, understand the Shankara Bhagavatpada's point of view. For Ramanujacharya, it is Ranga Ramanuja who has written the Bhashya on this Upanishad also. They are the one, they are the masters. They are giving to us and all. So from there, Sahana Avatu in the sense, let us be in tune with whatever they are explaining. The frequency be together. Sahana Avatu, Saha now Avatu. Let us get, let us be together in this process. Sahanau Bunaktu, Sahana Bunaktu, Sahanau Bunaktu. Both of us get energized. Let us have the full energy to do. Let's not even slack, even a minute to understand this. Let us do fully. Sahaviryam Karavavahi. Let's get the full energy. Let our mind be focused. Ekagragashinta. Let us have the full energy to absorb the knowledge. So once we get it, even the Guru should be happy to give the knowledge, and the Sishya should be happy to get and willing to get it. Willingness should get it. It is not that you have gone to a class where you don't have any interest in the subject. We have come with our own volition to understand this great knowledge that is being given by the great Acharyas through the Bhashyas and further explanations written by all these Bhashyas. Tejasvina Atitamastu. Tejasvina Atitamastu. In the sense, let us become, both of us become enlightened. Both of us, because both the masters, they are already enlightened. Let us also try to become enlightened to the capacity, to our extent possible, within our means. But let us continue the journey. Ma vidvishavahaihi. Because let us not have any jealousy, any cavil about each other. Because, okay, what is that they are talking about? Is it of any use in this world? Because what am I going to do in the Upanishad? In the sense, once you understand the purpose and the purport of it, you will understand how you have missed all this while. Your life would have been something different had we known this knowledge. If you have not, since we have not known this knowledge, this has become, of course, it is the right time. We have got the grace of the God. As Maya has been removed and we have got the enlightenment now we have come to this Upanishad, we are getting it. So let us get together and get it. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The Shanti we have explained earlier. One is Bhautika. I think physically you should be able to get. So when you are going and sitting in a dining table you don't have any hunger, or just an hour before you have taken coffee, you can't do justice to the food. Your body is not available to you for the food. Your body should be available. That is what your mind, body should be available. It's not that I am having a knee pain, I can't sit for a long time. And try to have the arrangements so that you can comfortably sit and listen to them. That's what Om Shanti. That is first one. The second Shanti is Adhyatma. See, because mentally you should not have any agitation. Array, 11:30, that bank fellow will phone. Tomorrow is the last day to pay electricity. I think till 10 o'clock, you are not doing it. But the moment when you come and sit here, and all those things come to your mind. So let mind not be, you have to be freely available. Your mind should be freely available to grasp. Let that mind be free from all these clutters. And the third one is Adi Daivika. The grace be there. The cosmic energy, let it come to me. Let there not be disturbance. Of course, today there is a disturbance. There is no power for me. And there is no thunder, likewise nothing happening. The cosmic energy also come to me, cooperate me. Let it also take, give its blessings to me so that I am able to get this knowledge. All the three Shantis are meant for that, so that this has to be available every day for everything for us. This Om Shanti is not only for this Upanishad, for whatever you are doing, right from the morning to evening, you have to get these three Shantis. Your body should be available, your mind should be available, and you also have these cosmic forces, and the outside forces also will enable you. Then you become Adhyatmika 24/7. This is what will happen. The Adhyatma is meant for 24/7. Coming to that, we have talked about this Shantipata. Before we go to that, all Upanishad we have, I think you may be remembering, because even the curtain raiser for the earlier Upanishad also we have covered earlier. For every Upanishad or every mantra, whenever you are reciting in our Dharma, you should know who is the Rishi. You should know what is the Chandas. You should know what is the Devata. Veda also, when you are doing Samhita, you should know who is the Rishi who has recited. First, pray to him. Let him give whatever he has recited, whatever knowledge he has expounded, let it be available to me, whatever he has given. And the Chandas is the Devata. In fact, Chandas is considered to be Devata because Gayatri, we may be considering it as a Devata, but Gayatri is a Chandas. The 24 letters, the greatest letters, they are the Chandas. In fact, in Mandukya Upanishad, we said first Om was the mystic syllable. From there, Gayatri has emanated. The Gayatri, when we have said, what is that? Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha. Om Bhuhu Bhuvaha Swaha. 3 words. All of them should be available. When all of them should be available only, we will be able to do it. Because, for your information, when people take sannyasa, they give up everything. In the sense, they give up pleasures of all the 3 worlds. They don't want even Swarga. They don't want even Turiya. They want to give up everything. They are bereft of everything. Nothing is available to them. They wantonly give it up. They willingly give it up. Om, Bhur, all the 3 they are giving it up. In fact, when the sannyasa ashrama, when anyone takes in our Sanatana Dharma, you may find it, it is peculiar. The Shraddha is done to him because he is living his entire life. He is coming into a new life. That is the concept. That is not symbolic in the sense. He gives up. Tyaga is, you will not have any, because like Mahaparival and all, because they didn't have any want. They are all, they don't have any icha. They don't have any aptakamya, nothing. No kamya is not required for them. Because they have given up everything. Anyone who takes sannyasa in our dharma, they have to give up all these things. That is why, this Gayatri is a chandas. Likewise, we have got other chandas also. Anushtup with the chandas for this 32 letters. See, each chandas has got a devata. So it has been elaborated by one Pingalacharya in the chandas. He has written a bhashya, because like Jaimini's, the sutra, Chandas Sutra he has written, in that it is coming about. And the more elaborately it has been written by Madhvacharya in his one of his Prakarnas, he has written. And we should also know Devata, which is the Devata who is the, for this particular Pratipadya, through whom we are going to get that. In this particular Upanishad, it is the Yama and Nachiketa, he is the giving knowledge to that. Yama is supposed to be the Rishi for that. Since Nachiketa is also one of the exalted souls, as we will see, he is also considered to be one of the Rishis after Yama. And Chandas is Anushtup. The Devata here, for this particular Upanishad, Devata is considered to be Vamana. Vamana Avatara is considered to be Devata for this particular Upanishad, because in one of the mantras, the Vamana is being expounded. Because Vamana is the one, he is in the form small, but his knowledge is the highest. He is the one who has given knowledge to everyone. So when you have seen, because all the entire Smritis and all, the Vamana, the Vamana Purana, it extols how great this one. Kathopanishad also is taking Vamana as the particular reference when Yama gives his knowledge to Nachiketa. He is supposed to be the Devata for that. For this, one Mangalacharana has been written by Madhvacharya. Others also have given a small, they have given a small explanation. The important Mangalacharana is, we are finding from Madhvacharya. We will just recite that Mangalacharana. That is going to be the beginning, the auspicious beginning for this Kathopanishad. Namo Bhavate Tasmai Sarvataha Paramayate. Namo Bhavate Tasmai Sarvataha Paramayate. Well, who is Bhagavan? We have explained a lot earlier. Who is Bhagavan? There is a concept of God. We can understand only one thing, because just for the purpose of limited understanding, he should have 6 qualities. Bhagavan means he should have Gyanam. Satchitananda, when you say the highest knowledge, Gyanam he should have. He should have the Vairagyam in the sense, Vairagyam is something like, because he doesn't have anything and all. He gives everyone Vairagyam. He is not having Vairagyam. He makes everything. Once you gives the knowledge to you, you will not have any attachment to any of the worldly things, worldly pleasures, because you have got so high a pleasure. See, when you are having first class ticket in the aircraft, will you go for the cattle class? Now we are all in the cattle class. The Bhagavan, the Brahman wants you to take to the first class. So you will be, if you are capable, you will be going for that, you will have to do that. It is the same aircraft we are traveling. This is exactly what he has to have Gyanam, Vairagyam. Aishwarya is the overlordship. It's not the wealth. Overlordship in the sense he is Isavashyam, Idagum Sarvam, Yatkincha Jagatyam. Inside and outside, he is guiding us, in taking us, elevating us. And Bala, it is the strength, which Bala is not only the body should be available, the strength, and we should be mentally focused. You should have, energy should be there. Unless you have taken a food, you will not have energy. Without taking food for 5 days, you can't listen to Upanishad. So you should have enough energy to carry on. And Viryam is the internal energy. You should have the fully tuned up to limit. And you should have, because how the Viryam has been explained by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa to Vivekananda. He asked him, you should have so much of desire to know God and so much of desire to, he said he wanted to go and talk to Dakshineswar and that Kali, he wanted to go and talk to him because he said Paramahamsa, he was a youngster, Vivekananda, he was Narendranath Dutt. So he asked him, only, what is that, God is so great, she only talk to you, she will not talk to others. He said, Paramahamsa said, why? You can also go and talk to him if you want. I think then he was wondering, so what should I do? Then he said, you should have the intense desire that she should talk to you. What is that intense desire I should have she should talk to you? And Paramahamsa was taking bath in the Hooghly, that river, Ganga. And Vivekananda was also taking bath youngster. Suddenly he put his hand on his head and was submerged into the water for a couple of minutes. Vivekananda could not hold his breath. He was just gasping. He came out. What is that? What you have done? He said, you should have such a desire. As you wanted to come out of the water, but your breath is going out, you should have such an intense desire. Then she will talk to you. So Adhyatma is not something, because by watching a TV show, you should bring yourself, you should be submitting yourself. The surrender is that. That is what you should have. That is exactly, they said the Viryam. And Tejas, when you should do it, the Tejas that comes to you, He gives you, reflects, its grace is reflected upon you. When it is reflected upon you, so you are pristine pure, your mind is pristine pure, you don't have anything and all, you are a pure white paper, not even a black dot on that. When that is, anyone will just come to you, you will be attracting, and not because of anything, because you will only be able to give kind words, right advice, whatever little helpful only you can do. Once you become such a person personified to whom everyone can approach and get the things better from you. This is what will happen. So here the Devata is Vamana. Vamana is, then the next sentence is Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Sarvataha Paramayate Sarvaprani Hridistaya. Harvatpamani Hridistaya, in the sense who is residing in our Hridaya. We have already said, the Padma Gosham, Pratikasham, inside in the Sushma, where the Bhagavanta is there in our heart, in this chakra where he is there. He is residing and guiding you. And we said, because he is the one, he is in the Vamana, in the form of Vamana when you are doing the Adhyatma of this Kathopanishad. Because it is talking about the great concept. We will just in one line we will complete the concept, which will be elaborating later. Samasta Vamanaya Namo Namaha. Vamanaya Namo Namaha, he is the one, he is small. But he gives such a big knowledge. Ulahalanda Perumal, he is only one. But he took all the three worlds in with his heat. That is the knowledge he is having. He will give that. That is what Namo Namaha. We pray to him and finally we go to that. This entire knowledge is one great question. What is asked about? What is the cessation of this body? Nothing but he asked, what is death? What happens to death? After death, is there any life? These are all the questions everyone is asking. This is the question that every religion is trying to address. But this has been addressed so beautifully, eloquently, and it cannot be addressed in any other way other than this, as we will be seeing in this Kathopanishad. We will see from the next week onwards how it takes to us. This is the curtain raiser for this, we have given enough brief on that. This is called otherwise eschatology, because this is termed as eschatology. It is something, after if you might have seen earlier days, people had a habit of, I think when we were working only cooking on stoves, the stove Josium was there in Tamil Nadu and all. Maybe I don't know whether it was in other places. It was the Nutan town, Indian Oil Corporation invented. It was used more for stove Josium than for cooking. And so many people had, the spirit coming into them, and they were talking to their the forefathers who are there in the other world, and they were giving guidance for a lot of problems and all. That is called eschatology. The eschatology, and the eschatology is where you are able to communicate and what happens after death and all. And where you are able to get the advice like this, Tau Josium, that is called the seance room. Seance room is where the dead and the living, they are able to communicate, the spirit and the living are able to communicate. It's a sort of Christian, not in Judaism, it is a Christian seance room they call it. It is like that. This is something esoteric, and this is absolutely meaningful. It is not something they are talking about cock and bull, which is not imaginary and all. It is absolutely the right, because the point they are importing, the knowledge they are giving, is absolutely make you fearless on anything. Nirbhayam. Once Nirbhayam comes, you will give all the strength. You will have Viryam will be there. Atmana Vindate Viryam, Vidya Vindate. Once you have this Vidya Vindate Amritam, immortality. Immortality in the sense, you are going to be absolutely unassailable. That is what we need, and we need that 24/7 for the during our lifetime. We will be getting it from next week. With this, I will complete today's proceedings. Thank you very much. I think, because this introduction had to be given so that we will understand a broad brush, view of the Vedas and Upanishads, and how they have come about and what is their meaning, because they have all got interconnectivity and all. See, all the acharyas, when they have been considered to be acharyas, they have written on three great things: Prasthanatraya, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra Bhashyam of Krishna Dvaipayana, and all the Upanishads. When they have done the Bhashyas on all these, understood and given this knowledge, they have all become great acharyas. Let us invoke the blessings of all the great acharyas and commence our proceedings from next week. सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहैः तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्विदावहैः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. If you have time, and we will have 5 minutes meditation as usual, so that you can go back with